Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 18 February 2014. Got a little show and tell for you tonight. A guest blade that just sort of piggybacked along in a package. My YouTube buddy and Christian brother Toadstkr sent me his large Sebenza 21 for an Apostle P Edge, and he sent a couple guest blades along for the ride. And this is one of them. It is the Spyderco Sage 3, the third in a line that now includes 4 models. The Spyderco Sage line, built in Taichung, Taiwan, all feature S30V steel, that trademark leaf-shaped blade, full flat ground, 3 inches long. Handles are about 4 inches long. They're just sort of classic Spyderco, aren't they? They are 4 very similar knives with some very key differences and a really cool concept. Each of the 4 pays homage to a significant maker or designer in the history of folding knives. How cool is that? The first one, the Sage 1, comes with stainless steel liners, a laminate of carbon fiber over G10 for scales, and a Michael Walker liner lock. The Sage 2, titanium handle slabs and a Reeve integral lock, commonly referred to as a titanium frame lock. Of course, paying homage to Chris Reeve, inventor of the Reeve integral lock, still featured on the Sebenza, the Umnumzan, and even the Umnundi. In the Sage 3, well, let's skip the 3, let's go to the 4. It has a lockback or a mid-lock or a front lock, depending on the term. It's a back lock that's placed about right here. And that one attributed to Al Mar, at least for popularizing it and producing it. The Sage 3, which I think is maybe at least the coolest homage of the 4 because of who this knife is designed to pay homage to. Blackie Collins, inventor, patenter of the bolt action lock. Blackie Collins is kind of a neat guy. He's one of those knife guys, his brain just never would turn off. Well over 50 knife making patents and several books. He helped found the Knife Makers Guild and also Blade Magazine, and most of his designs are relegated to production versions that we sort of snicker at, which I think is kind of sad. Most of his designs went into production in Meyerco knives. His first bolt action lock was in a Gerber knife in 1981. The bolt action lock in user interface or in operation behaves a lot like a Benchmade Axis Lock or even the Spyderco caged ball bearing lock. You can either use the thumb or the thumb and forefinger to pull back what looks like a thumb stud and release the blade. Whereas the Benchmade Axis Lock uses a bar that traverses the handle and locks in on the tang of the blade. And the ball bearing lock from Spyderco that sort of uses, instead of a horizontal bar, one big ball. The bolt action lock uses a piston. So in between the handle slabs, connected to these thumb studs, is a piston that swings up and traps the blade tang between a stop pin and the top of the handle and the tang. So different designs, but this similar kind of actuation. I will tell you, this bolt action lock is probably the slickest operating of the 3 once your hand sort of gets used to its rhythm. When I first started playing with this, I kept bouncing the knife off the closed stop pin because I couldn't release the actuating button quickly enough, like that. See, it's been in my right hand more. So that's the trouble that you run into. And I've watched a lot of videos on this knife, and I really haven't seen guys, you know, sort of flicking it open and closed effortlessly, because it's difficult to get to know. But I think once you do get to know it, it'd be pretty neat. You know, you can use all your normal Spidey moves. You got your normal deployment, your middle finger flick, you got your Spidey drop, etc. It does everything a Spyderco should do. One thing I kind of liked was the choice of the handle material. This is G10, solid bright blue G10 with a G10 backspacer. I think you can make out the transition lines if you look closely. It's not a solid piece of plastic, it's 3 pieces of G10. But in a really cool way, it's made to look like FRN. You know, most of Blackie's designs made it into cheap knives. And this is an expensive knife, well over $100. But it was made to look cheap, which I think is very interesting, very cool. You sort of have to be a Blackie Collins knife to like this knife, I think. You have to be a Blackie Collins fan to like this knife. And I kind of am a Blackie Collins fan, and I do like this knife. I thank you, Toadstkr, for sending it along. It's just cool. I've had a Sage 1, I've handled some Sage 2s, I haven't had a Sage 4 in hand, but I'm not sure this isn't my favorite Sage. For somebody who's not a big Sage fan, I generally prefer something smaller or larger. Like a domino, a little bit bigger. Just enough bigger. If I'm going to go smaller than that, I'm going really small. However, I still have an appreciation for this little guy, even though I can't make it work real well with my left hand. Thought you'd like to see it before I send it home. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.